I had these men up there, and I shouldn't leave them. They were my buddies. Some of them married men with families, and they trust me. I didn't feel like I should value my life above my buddies, and so I decided to stay with them and take care of as many of them as I could. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
I told him that I didn't feel like I was much of a Christian, that I could accept a discharge off my religion, and I couldn't accept it.
Mm-hmm. And the Pentagon accepts your reasoning, and you're not discharged. Fierce fighting continued on the escarpment, didn't it, Fred?
Yes, it did, Ralph. I saw Doss repeatedly go out among heavy enemy fire and bring the wounded back to safety. And on May the 2nd, Doss, when I was wounded in the face, you gave me a morphine shot and bandaged my head and led me back to that cargo net.
5 days later, I was wounded very seriously in the left lung and left knee, and Doss was the only medic left at that time. He came down and gave me courage and dressed my wound, gave first aid to the other 3 men that were hit with me. He sent us back, and he remained there under fire. Doss, I owe you my life.
My dad bought this 10 Commandments in Lois Pratt Illustrated on a nice frame. And I had looked at that picture of 6 Commandments, thou shalt not kill. That's the picture had Cain had killed his brother Abel. Now, what how in the world could a brother do such a thing? I've pictured Christ out saving life. I want to be like Christ out saving life instead of taking life. And that's the reason I take up medicine.
Were ordered to assault a jagged 400-foot escarpment overrun with Japanese defenders.
Japanese had been there for years. They had that mountain with honeycomb and camouflage, looked like natural terrain. And that's what we had to face. So I remember 8 or 9 of those Japanese positions we destroyed before we contacted A Company. And when the day was done, I didn't have a single man killed. The next day, we thought the big job was done, but instead, everything we was trying this day went wrong. We threw all types of high explosive demolition on this Japanese position. We decided it was only one thing left to do. We had 35 gallons of high-octane gasoline and 5-gallon Army water cans. 2 men got a hose, opened the can, lit up. 2 of them literally threw it over the bank. The ammunition dump must have gone off. That whole mountain just seemed to quit. You can take anything, it would be able to slide it. But to our surprise, out came these Japanese from both sides for us.
Showering Doss's battalion with artillery, mortar, and machine gun fire, the Japanese drove the majority of the group back down the face of the escarpment. But dozens of casualties were still left behind.
I had these men up there, and I shouldn't leave them. They were my buddies. Some of them married men with families, and they trust me. I didn't feel like I should value my life above my buddies, and so I decided to stay with them and take care of as many of them as I could. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Doss remained to tend the wounded, dragging them to the cliff's edge and attempting to lower them down the escarpment.
But I didn't have enough rope to do the job like it should be done. Then the Lord brought to my mind that knot I learned in West Virginia I'd never seen or heard of before.
Relying on his childhood experience rescuing flood victims, Doss fashioned a special sling that enabled him to lower the men one by one to safety.
So I just kept praying, Lord, please help me get one more, until there was none left. And I was the last one down.
By nightfall, he had managed to rescue 75 fallen comrades.
It was 15 of us got the medal that day. When my time came, I went up President man, he came out and he stepped over the line and caught me by my hand and shook my hand like an old-time friend, somebody been knowing all his life. He didn't even give me a chance to get nervous. When you had explosives and bullets so close you could practically feel it and not get wounded up there when I should have been killed a number of times, I know who I owe my life to as well as my men. That's why I like to tell this story to the glory of God, because I know from a human standpoint I should not be here. You can't always win, but when your buddies come to you and say they owe their life to me, what better reward can you get than that?
And in exposed areas, you drag the wounded to safety.
I saw many instances of Desmond Doss's unbelievable courage.
He was a lieutenant in the company to which you were attached, Desmond, Company B. And here from Sacramento, California, where he owns and operates the Midtown Auto Supply Company, is Onless C. Brister. Now, Guam was a turning point in changing the opinion of the officers and men about Desmond Doss. Isn't that so, Onless?
It was, Ralph. What Doss did on Guam, he was not only accepted, but he was admired for his unbelievable courage. I saw instances when we were pinned down. It was unbelievable that anyone could come out alive. Yet, time after time, he would go out without weapons, without orders, sometimes even against orders, and tend to the wounded and bring them back. It was a miracle that he was not hit.
Desmond also gave spiritual help to his buddies, didn't he, Onless?
He certainly did, yes. When we were about to go into combat, he would get down and say his prayers. Many of us would say them along with him. Knowing that he was there gave us an unbelievable amount of courage.
Thank you, Onless C. Brister of Sacramento, California. Yes, B Company, to which you're attached, is one of the units ordered to take the escarpment.
And it was on that escarpment that Desmond Doss performed his most memorable feat of courage.
Now a private investigator for the state of Arizona and co-owner of the Fact Finder, here from Phoenix, Arizona, is Captain Jack Glover. You were at the company command post when B Company was ordered to make the attack, weren't you, Captain Glover?
Yes, Ralph, I was. The late company B commander, Captain Vernon, told Doss, and I believe at that time Doss was reading his Bible down below us, that he was the only medic left in the battalion. He knew it was his Sabbath day, but he wanted to know if he would go with us. And he said if you'd give him a few more minutes, he would be with us, and he did.
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened when the attack was made, Captain Glover?
Well, we fought many days on the escarpment there. They put cargo nets up so that we could get up it. And during the day, we'd get a foothold on the top, and then we'd get kicked off again. And we had such intense enemy fire that at one time we had so many casualties that we had to leave some behind. We had to give orders to withdraw. There was one able-bodied man that refused to withdraw, and that was Doss.
And as the official citation reads, Private Doss refused to seek cover and remained in the fire-swept area with the many stricken, carrying them one by one to the edge of the escarpment and there lowering them on a rope-supported litter down the face of a cliff to friendly hands. How many men did Desmond Doss save in this way, Captain Glover?
About 75, Ralph. I think it was the most heroic deed that I have ever seen.